Hey, this is Tony Byrne back with another episode of the Realtor Hot Seat. This week we're taking a break from interviewing real estate agents and having Loretta Cael from the Arc of Spokane come in and join us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about what the Arc does.
The Arc of Spokane has been around for 60 years, and we help families with developmental intellectual disabilities. So we're a support organization. We're involved directly in our community, and we help probably about 6 different counties. So we're very important regionally in Eastern Washington to provide advocacy and support services for those families.
And I'm assuming it's all of the counties in Eastern Washington.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's dive deep into kind of some of the programs you have and some of the ways you help these families.
Absolutely. So in addition to helping with supported employment, we help them find jobs or safe, secure living environments. We also help them create and sustain home ownership. And a lot of people think that's an interesting topic when you're talking about families with disabilities, because they say, how can a family or even the member themselves with a disability become a homeowner?
Right.
And it's amazing how many people don't understand the opportunities that are available in the state of Washington to benefit them directly. The way that usually begins for me is the first 5 calls that I receive every morning. And they start with, my rent has gone up. And it doesn't matter if you're renting private pay, if you're having a subsidized housing situation, everybody's rent is going up. And for people living on fixed income, it's even more challenging because there isn't anywhere to draw from. So we start with a budget conversation. How are we going to keep them in safe, stable housing if their rent has gone up? So through our financial management program, I will have them come in and begin a budget conversation. And through that, we start to understand what resources are available. Perhaps there's one person in the family working full-time. Maybe one is at home with a disabled child, and they're also receiving some Social Security. And so when we put those resources together, oftentimes we find that we can create qualifying income for them to actually be able to obtain a mortgage. So that's the first step, which is very exciting. Because when they come in, they just need a place to rent. And when they leave, they think, maybe I never have to have this conversation again. That I'm going to be able to get into my first home. First, I'm going to be a first generation homeowner, and I'm going to be able to move my family one last time, and I'm going to have the freedom to choose the colors I paint my house, the things that I do in my yard, plant a garden. So many amazing things that families want to do that they've never thought they had the opportunity for. So this is our jumping off place, and we take it from there.
I would imagine that, I mean, just running into people that we run into home ownership wise or that want to buy, that have that thought, and then to have on top of the challenges that they have
Exactly.
to think that, wow, this isn't even a possibility, that it's pretty cool to see their eyes when you tell them that, wow, this is a possibility.
It really is. It's amazing. Again, they're so appreciative. And they don't need a lot. And that's what's amazing, is that gives us opportunities to work with that fixed income budget. And there are still homes and home ownership opportunities in Spokane and our surrounding counties for these families. So they're not priced out of the market. And there are more first-time home buyers, homes becoming available every day. So we try to give them the faith that this will happen for them and the patience to just stick with the program. So after we've determined that they potentially could be a home buyer, we will get them in for a 5-hour home buyer education class. That class not only educates them, but allows them to now participate in all of the down payment programs in the state of Washington. And some are very specific to people with disabilities, which gives them more purchasing power. So they're limited at how much they can afford on their fixed income, but layering that with down payment assistance, we've created more opportunities for those families than they ever thought were possible.
You mentioned down payment assistance. What can you just go into some of the programs that are available for these families?
Absolutely. So we partner with the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, And that's who we are underwritten by to do our 5-hour class. Once they receive that certificate, we will then look at their income, because you get to the point where there's what they call an area median income for their family size. And that's going to help us determine which of those programs would be the best fit for them. So we're going to look at first the family for the Arc of Spokane's down payment program. It provides the largest amount of down payment, but it is specific to the type of disability that family has. We will lend $19,600. It's at 1% simple interest. It's deferred for 30 years, and we only charge interest for the first 10 years. So it definitely increases purchasing power, but it is specific to families that have an intellectual or developmental disability. So really we're talking about the people whose children were born with that disability, or perhaps something occurred later, cancer, something when they were a child, that really one of the family members has now been taken out of the workforce and they need this extra purchasing power. The other option that's available to all families with a disability is home choice. And home choice allows the homeowner to get between $10,000 and $15,000 at 1% interest, again, deferred for 30 years. It can go to both down payment and to closing costs. And so for those folks that haven't been able to save, because rents keep going up and it's very difficult to save when you're paying 60% of your income towards your rent, we want to fill that gap. And these are what these down payment assistance programs were designed to do. And the two that I speak of are specific for the families with disabilities, and it will allow them under home choice to make up to $81,000 a year and still qualify for at least $10,000 in assistance.
So you have these down payment assistance programs, and then for other potential home buyers, you have what are some of the programs that other potential home buyers can take advantage of?
We are HUD housing counselors, and under the new rules that have passed, we are required to be licensed and certified just the same as your realtor or your lender. And so we want you to know that we come from a place of education and information, and we have very thorough knowledge of the programs that we're going to discuss with you. I personally have over 35 years experience in every part of this industry. So there isn't any question that you're going to ask me that I'm not going to be able to find the correct answer. But in addition to home ownership, we want to help you balance all of the parts of your life. So we are going to provide financial counseling, budget management. We do credit counseling. It's not credit repair. We're not going to go in and pay off old debt or negotiate that type of thing. What we're going to do is help you understand what credit is, what your credit score should look like, and how do we get positive credit without taking on debt. People are so afraid to use credit because they think it means they're going into debt. And there are so many ways that doesn't have to happen. So we want to help them to be responsible with credit, and it begins at the very start of our conversation. This is a 30-year process purchasing a home, and we want to make sure that they have all the tools necessary for them to navigate these waters. In addition to that, we offer post-purchase counseling. This is really important because you're going to help them get the house, Tony. We're going to help them keep the house. The home that you buy is never going to be as inexpensive as the day you close your loan. We all know that are homeowners in this community. Things go up. Your taxes, your insurance, your maintenance cost, it's always something. And we're going to be here for the next 30 years or however long you need us as a resource you can come back to. So for somebody with a disability, I'm going to help them prepare a tax exemption. Every 3 years those expire, and it's very important that people get that benefit. We're going to help with maintenance issues if we need to. People are allowed to buy a home using an FHA program, and maybe they don't have more than 3 years left on their roof. Are they going to be able to save $8,000 to $12,000 in the next 3 years to handle that new roof? We're going to be there to help them, whether it's funding that roof or guiding them to resources that will support that. We don't want them to ever be in a situation where they get taken advantage of because they don't have the financial tools in their toolbox. We're a strong believer in fair housing. We do workshops on that as well. And also tenancy. Not everybody's going to be a homeowner. That's okay. But we want them, again, to be in safe, permanent housing. And if it means we help them understand the rights and responsibilities of tenancy, then that's the best thing that we can do for them. And that's another service that we offer.
Awesome. I think the coolest thing, or maybe the best thing for anyone that walks through the front door of the Arc is that you're not necessarily, you could trust what's happening because you don't really have a dog, and you guys aren't trying to say you need to buy a home.
Right.
Where I get it a lot that, hey, like, are you you just have a little backdoor trust issues with someone that's trying to sell you a mortgage or a home. So going your way can maybe kind of eliminate that stuff.
Well, and I'm a partner, and that's the exciting thing. I've had people, especially as we get busy, people tend to make decisions that are more rash and not as well thought out. And so having a partner that has no vested interest in whether you purchase a home or not can be a sounding board. Right. And we can have these conversations. Well, what happens if this? How are we going to work on your emergency savings plan? How are we going to get ready for this? What are you going to have to give up to see whether this is the right fit for you? This isn't going to be a 30-day process. For a lot of folks, it can be 6 months to a year.
Right.
We're going to be there with them the whole time. And these services are open to everyone in our community. There is no income limit. There are no defining qualities other than you want some guidance on safe, stable housing. And that's what we're going to be able to provide to you. But as HUD housing counselors, we support everyone in our community to make good decisions. I've been on the other side of that. I just came out of what you came out of, and we counseled a lot of people, and we were able to save a lot of homes from foreclosure, but we don't want to go there again.
Right.
And if we can begin with the right financial tools to keep them on track, regardless of whether a death, divorce, disability, some life-changing event occurs, we're going to help them negotiate where do we go next, instead of just laying there at night wondering. They don't answer the phone, they don't open the mail. It's a very scary thing to think that you're about to lose the biggest investment you've ever made.
Right.
So that's why we want you to know you have a partner in this.
Okay, so we have all these options for help. How much is it?
There is no charge for our services.
Wow.
We are, again, HUD housing counselors. And so we are either funded through very nominal sized HUD grants or through community support. And so it's very important that our town, our community knows that we're here locally. We're not a 1-800 number, but the only way we can continue to provide these services is with the generous support of people who have either taken advantage of these opportunities and feel the need to give back, or understand the importance of education in home ownership. So we highly encourage you to be a donor, a giver. If you'd like to donate time, money, or resources, we do have an Arc of Spokane thrift store that generates a lot of revenue for other programs as well. So any way that you can help give back to our program, it's really appreciated. And of course, we also ask for assistance from our banking friends, because sometimes they need to reinvest their community money.
Yeah.
And we're a great resource for that as a local nonprofit.
So where would they go to, where would people go to donate, or other, obviously the thrift store, but is there a website people can go to donate?
Absolutely. So you can go to our direct website, which is www.thearcofspokane.org. You can contact me directly. Our main number is 328-6326. I am at extension 8326, but everyone knows me. Just ask for Loretta. They'll get you to me. If you want to donate your time, let me know. If you'd like to help at one of my home buyer classes, let me know. However you would like to help us, help this community, it's all appreciated and it's all necessary. So thank you.
I always ask, this is one of the questions we ask every week is, where do you like to go eat or drink in Spokane?
I like to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. My daughter-in-law and my son turned me on to that. My son is in the 141st out at Fairchild. He flies KC-135s. So he's gone a lot. So it's a great place for us to be able to take the grandchildren, and they can make as much noise as they want, and we can watch every game that's on, and it's very family friendly. So I really like that about Spokane. We support places that are family friendly.
Okay, and finally, all these great services, how can someone that either needs your help, wants your help, how can they get it?
You bet. So again, we're local. We're located at 320 East 2nd Avenue, 3 blocks off Division. Lots of free parking. People always wonder about that. We have a local number as well, 328-6326. And we have different outreach events throughout the year. We just most recently had our largest for the year. But we'll be doing that again, and we'd love to hear from you and add you to our mailing list so that you're aware of all the upcoming activities and events. Maybe it's not home ownership, maybe you need help with employment or help with some other kind of service. And let us know that you're there. We will add you to our mailing list, and we will get you in contact with all the people that you need.
Awesome. This is Tony Byrne with Loretta Cael. Thanks for joining us today. So much good information. I'm fired up that people will see this and kind of learn about these programs. I think they're pretty important, obviously. So
I sure appreciate the invite, Tony, and thank you for the opportunity to share our message.
We'll see you next time.